Learn faster with the Feynman Technique. Introduction, the genius of simplicity. Let's kick things off with a quick scene we all know too well. You're sitting at your desk, highlighters everywhere, notes stacked a mile high, and your brain just not getting it. You're trying to learn this one topic for hours, and it still feels like you're reading another language. Sound familiar? Now picture this. That same topic, but you're explaining it to a friend. Smoothly, clearly, and without even looking at your notes. That's the power of the Feynman Technique. This technique is all about simplicity. It helps you understand anything by breaking it down in a way that actually sticks. No more cramming. No more memorizing for the sake of memorizing. Just real understanding. I've been there. I used to get so frustrated trying to learn tough subjects. I'd read the same paragraph 5 times and still not really know what it meant. It wasn't until I came across the Feynman technique that things started to click. Once I tried it, my entire approach to learning changed. Honestly, it's one of the biggest game changers I've ever discovered, and I wish I had known about it sooner. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use the Feynman technique to learn faster, understand deeper, and actually enjoy the process. Let's get into it. The struggle of learning. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're completely drowning in information? Like no matter how hard you try, the stuff just isn't sticking? You're reading, rereading, highlighting, watching tutorials, and still your brain's like, nope. Whether you're trying to learn a new coding language, wrap your head around some intense science theory, or even memorize lines for a school play, it can get really overwhelming. That kind of frustration is something we all go through, and honestly, it can make you want to give up. But what if I told you there's a better way? There's a technique, used by one of the greatest minds of the 20th century, physicist Richard Feynman, that completely flips the way we approach learning. It's simple, effective, and it actually works. No more memorizing just for the test. This is about truly understanding what you're learning. In a second, I'll walk you through how it works and how you can start using it today. Introducing the Feynman Technique. All right, so here's where things get exciting. This isn't just another quick study hack or productivity trend. The Feynman Technique is a legit revolutionary way of learning, developed by none other than Richard Feynman, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist who was known not just for being brilliant, but for making even the most complicated topics sound simple. At its core, the technique comes down to one powerful idea. If you can't explain something in your own words, you don't really understand it. And that's the truth. We think we know something because we've read it or heard it, but when we actually try to teach it or explain it, boom, we hit a wall. That's where the Feynman technique comes in. By breaking a topic down and forcing yourself to explain it simply, like you're teaching it to a 10-year-old, you're not just reviewing, you're actively finding the gaps in your understanding. And once you find those gaps, you can fix them. That's how real learning happens. It's crazy how effective this is, and the best part? Anyone can do it. Coming up, I'll walk you through the exact steps to apply this method to anything you're trying to learn. Step-by-step guide. So, how do you actually use the Feynman technique? Let's break it down with a real example. Let's say you're trying to wrap your head around something big and brainy, like quantum entanglement. Sounds intense, right? Step 1. Grab a pen and paper. Now, imagine you're explaining this concept to someone who has zero background in physics. Could be your cat, your roommate, or even a friend over Zoom. The key is, they don't know the jargon, so you can't use it either. Write out your explanation in the simplest terms possible. No fancy words, no textbook quotes, just you, trying to make sense of it in plain English. Step 2. Find the gaps. If you hit a moment where you're like, wait, how do I explain that part? That's gold. That's the exact spot where your understanding isn't solid yet. Step 3. Go back and study. Dive back into your notes, textbook, a video, whatever resource you trust, and learn just enough to fill that gap. Then come back and try explaining it again. Clearer, simpler. Step 4. Repeat and refine. Keep doing this until your explanation flows easily. If you can teach it like a story, without hesitation, you've got it. The goal isn't to sound smart, it's to be clear. And once you can explain something clearly, you truly understand it. Boost your learning with the Feynman technique. Let's be honest. Most of us grew up thinking that studying meant cramming, highlighting entire textbooks, repeating facts over and over, memorizing stuff for the test, then forgetting it the minute we walk out of the classroom. But the Feynman technique? It's on a whole different level. This isn't about stuffing your brain with information. It's about building real understanding, the kind that sticks, the kind that makes you say, oh, now I get it. And the best part? You don't need to be a genius to use it. You just need to be curious. Here's what makes it so powerful. It shows you exactly where you're struggling. Instead of spinning your wheels wondering why something doesn't make sense, this technique literally reveals the gaps in your knowledge. And once you see the gaps, you can fix them. Simple as that. It turns passive learning into active thinking. No more zoning out while rereading the same paragraph. No more convincing yourself you kind of get it. With Feynman, you have to explain it in your own words. You have to teach it like you're talking to a 10-year-old. And when you do that, everything changes. That aha moment, it hits different. There's something incredibly satisfying about taking a big, scary concept, something that once felt way over your head, and breaking it down so clearly that even your little cousin could understand it. It makes learning feel less like a struggle and more like solving a puzzle. Whether you're prepping for finals, diving into a new field at work, or just learning something for fun, the Feynman technique can unlock a whole new level of confidence and clarity. So if you've ever felt like learning was frustrating, slow, or just not clicking, this is your sign to try something different. The Feynman technique isn't just a method, it's a mindset. And once you get the hang of it, there's no limit to what you can learn. Real results with the Feynman technique. The Feynman technique isn't just a cool idea. It's something real people are using every day to level up their learning. Students have used it to ace their exams, not by memorizing answers, but by actually understanding the material. Imagine walking into a test feeling confident because you know the topic inside and out. That's what this technique helps you do. Professionals across all kinds of industries, tech, business, healthcare, you name it, have used it to boost their career skills. Need to explain a concept to a client, teach a colleague, or prepare for a big presentation? If you can break it down simply, you instantly sound more confident, more credible, and more in control. And it's not just for school or work. Everyday learners, people just like you, are using the Feynman technique to pick up new hobbies and skills. Learning a new language, trying to understand cryptocurrency, even mastering a complicated recipe or a DIY project. It all becomes easier when you can explain each step clearly to yourself. Think about it. When you can teach something to someone else, that's when you really own it. You're no longer just holding on to random facts. You're actually in control of the information, and you can apply it in real-life situations. No matter what you're learning, coding, history, science, or even how to bake the perfect loaf of sourdough, the Feynman technique gives you a clear, reliable path to real understanding. The Feynman technique, how it started. The Feynman technique is named after Richard Feynman, a brilliant physicist and Nobel Prize winner. He believed that the best way to learn something deeply was to teach it in simple terms. While studying at Princeton, Feynman kept a notebook called Things I Don't Know About, where he'd write down topics he didn't fully understand. Then he'd try to explain each one as if teaching it to a child. If he got stuck, he'd go back, study more, and try again, until it made complete sense. This approach helped him master difficult concepts and became the foundation of the Feynman technique. Understand deeply, explain simply. Today, it's a go-to learning method for students, professionals, and anyone who wants to truly understand a topic. Dear friends, in order not to miss new videos, please subscribe to our Telegram bot. Something will be published first, and something only there. Subscribe and receive information first. Nowadays, successful people are those who receive information first. Receive and apply. Tip of the day. It is always necessary to watch the video first, and then watch it again and take notes in a notebook. According to statistics, 90% of those who watched up to this point are not subscribers. Please subscribe. It costs you nothing, and for me as a newbie, it is useful for promoting the channel. And I am also pleased that I am useful to you with my knowledge expressed in my videos. Thank you.